You think your life is already a mess until a millionaire walks in, looks you dead in the eyes and says, "I'll pay you if you pretend to be a boy and let me kiss you." No, this isn't a bad joke from Tinder. It's how my entire world got rewritten in a single night. It started in New York, in a rooftop bar too expensive for someone like me to even be standing in. I was there on a dare, half drunk on cheap vodka before I even touched the overpriced martini in my hand. That's when she walked in. Isabella Hart. The kind of woman whose name makes the room pause. Rich, magnetic, and terrifyingly beautiful. Like she belonged on magazine covers, but also in your darkest dreams. Her lips curved in a smirk when our eyes met, like she already knew the secrets I hadn't told anyone. And then, without warning, she cornered me in front of everyone and whispered a deal that should have made me laugh her off. "Pretend to be a boy. Tonight. Let me kiss you like I mean it." Who the hell says no to a millionaire? Especially one who looks like her. I didn't even have time to breathe before she pulled me into the spotlight. The crowd thought it was a game, a bet, a joke of rich people with too much money. But when her lips pressed against mine, there was nothing fake about it. My chest burned, my hands trembled, and in that stolen kiss the lines blurred between reality and the role I was playing. The next morning I should have walked away. But Isabella wasn't done with me. She tracked me down, sharp heels clicking on the marble lobby floor of the art gallery where I worked. "You," she said like I was already hers, "owe me more than one kiss." And I, diet, reckless, hopelessly drawn, followed her. The thing about Isabella was that she didn't just own skyscrapers and cars that cost more than my annual salary. She owned the air in every room she walked into. She was a storm, and being near her meant surrendering to chaos. At first, I convinced myself it was just the money. She paid me to keep playing this game, to step into her world where everyone thought I was her mysterious male lover. She laughed when I tried to quit. She teased me when I blushed. And she kissed me like she was trying to burn her name into my bones. But there was something broken behind her laughter. Something about the way she held on too tight when no one was watching, or how her eyes lingered on me as if I were the only real thing in her fabricated, glittering life. And then I found out why. Isabella wasn't kissing me because she wanted a boy. She was kissing me because she was afraid to admit what she really wanted. A woman. Me. It hit me one night after a charity gala where I played the role to perfection, tuxedo sharp on my shoulders, my hair hidden under a cap. She dragged me out of the crowd, up into her penthouse, and broke down in my arms like she was bleeding out from a wound no one could see. "I can't let them know," she whispered against my chest. "If they see me want you as you are, everything I built, everything I fought for, it'll all fall apart." I should have pushed her away. I should have told her I wasn't strong enough to carry her secrets. But when her tears soaked through my shirt and her hands clung to me like I was her lifeline, I realized the truth. I was already in too deep. And worse, I wanted to be. The danger of loving Isabella wasn't just the lie we told the world. It was the way she made me feel like fire and freedom all at once. Every kiss was both a weapon and a prayer. Every glance across a crowded room was a confession. But I knew it couldn't last. Lies never do. The night everything cracked open was the night she almost lost it all. A reporter cornered us, demanding the truth about the mysterious boyfriend. Cameras flashed, the crowd pressed closer, and Isabella froze. For the first time, her confidence shattered. And in that moment, instead of protecting her lie, I made a choice. I pulled off the disguise, let my hair fall, and showed the world exactly who I was. Gasps, whispers, headlines exploding like fireworks. But Isabella didn't care. She grabbed my hand, lifted it to her lips, and kissed me. I kissed me in front of everyone. The world could burn for all she cared. And in that blaze I realized something. Sometimes love isn't about hiding. Sometimes it's about setting fire to the walls that keep you apart, and daring the world to watch you rise from the ashes. They say scandals ruin lives. But sometimes they save them. The morning after Isabella kissed me in front of half of Manhattan's elite, my phone exploded with messages. Some were cruel, predictable slurs that stabbed where people thought it would hurt. Some were curious, hungry for gossip. And some were surprisingly supportive, strangers whispering words like bravery and freedom. But none of that compared to the storm Isabella was facing. Her board members called for emergency meetings, stockholders panicked, the press hounded her every move. Her empire trembled on the edge of collapse. And yet, when I saw her again, standing in the doorway of my tiny apartment instead of her palace of glass, she looked freer than I had ever seen her. "Are you scared?" I asked, pulling her inside before the paparazzi sniffed her out. Her lips curled into that reckless smile I had fallen for. "Terrified," she admitted, then softer. "But for once I'm terrified and happy at the same time." I wanted to tell her she was insane. I wanted to tell her that love wasn't worth this much chaos. But the truth was I couldn't stop reaching for her, couldn't stop kissing her like the world outside didn't matter. And for a while it didn't. Weeks passed and the chaos slowly shifted. Some investors pulled away, but new ones came in, people who admired Isabella's unapologetic boldness. The press kept circling, but even they grew bored once the shock wore off. What remained stubborn and unshakable was us. But loving Isabella was never going to be easy. One night, over takeout on the floor of her penthouse, she admitted the darkest part of her fear. "My father built everything with blood on his hands," she said, voice raw. "And when I took over, I swore I'd never give them a reason to doubt me. To be a woman in this world is already a weakness in their eyes. To love a woman? They'd tear me apart." I reached across the cartons of lo mein and touched her hand. "Maybe. But they didn't destroy you when the truth came out. You're still here. And so am I." Her eyes shimmered like glass ready to break, but she didn't. She held my hand tighter, as if testing whether I would let go. I didn't. The second act of our love wasn't passionate, was survival. We learned to navigate the whispers, the looks, the endless questions. We learned to carve out quiet spaces where the world couldn't touch us. Early morning walks through Central Park, hidden cafes in Brooklyn, the sanctuary of her arms after another brutal day. And slowly I watched Isabella change. She was still the sharp, powerful woman who terrified boardrooms and dazzled headlines. But with me she let herself laugh more, soften more, even cry without shame. She began to dream aloud, dreams that had nothing to do with skyscrapers or profits. Dreams of painting again, of traveling without an entourage, of waking up somewhere that wasn't always New York. "You make me remember who I was before all this," she confessed one night, curled against me as the city lights bled through her window. "And who was that?" I teased. "A girl who believed love was worth everything," she whispered. Of course, the world wasn't finished testing us. One evening, during a charity gala she refused to skip, her father appeared. A man carved from stone and ambition, his eyes sharp enough to cut. He didn't speak to me at first. He only looked at Isabella, disappointment etched deep in his features. "You've ruined our name," he said quietly, but his voice carried like thunder. "All for a phase." The words sliced through the air, cruel and dismissive. I felt Isabella flinch. For a terrifying second I thought she'd fold, that she'd return to the woman who hid behind masks and money. But then she stood taller, her fingers sliding into mine in plain view of everyone. "This isn't a phase," she said, her voice steady as steel. "This is the only thing in my life that feels real." Gasps rippled through the room. Her father's face darkened, but he said nothing more. He left, the echo of his footsteps swallowed by the stunned silence. And Isabella, she smiled. Not because it was easy, but because she had finally chosen herself. The final chapter of our story wasn't fireworks or headlines. It was quieter, softer, more human. Months later, we moved into a small house by the ocean in Massachusetts. No skyscrapers, no endless noise. Just waves and gulls and mornings where she made coffee in an oversized sweater while I painted at the kitchen table. Sometimes she still wore her armor when she went into the city, still fought battles I couldn't shield her from. But when she came home, she was mine, not the millionaire, not the headline, not the scandal. Just Isabella. One evening, as the sun drowned itself in the Atlantic, she took my hand and whispered, "Do you regret it? Any of it?" I looked at her, at the woman who had turned my life upside down, who had broken me open and put me back together in ways I never imagined. And I smiled. Not a single second. She kissed me then, slow and certain, as the waves crashed against the shore. And in that moment I knew the truth the world could never take from us. We weren't a scandal. We weren't a mistake. We were love, raw and defiant and real. And love against all odds had saved us both. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.